6 months ago, I created the Scarlet and Violet skin for Pokemon Showdown. Overall, it was well received, and over the course of the following months, the community sent me known bugs, I patched them out, and life seemed swell. But my job started up again, and the project remained unfinished. The goal was to make all of Pokemon Showdown a seamless Scarlet and Violet inspired experience, and to do this, I still had to change these 5 major things. Make the skin compatible with past generations, revamp the home menu, revamp the team builder page, revamp the community tab, and as a bonus, change the Pokemon sizes to their in-game accurate counterparts. These changes are more than a quick bug fix. I would need time. Fortunately, I do get summers off, so let the project begin. First off, to make this all work, I need to change the CSS of the website, so I'm using Stylish again. This time they reached out to me to support the creation of this project so I could bring it to an end. Stylish is a handy web extension for anyone that would like more customization of how they experience their favorite website. The Showdown project, of course, is a huge change, but you can also use the extension for simple theme changes and my personal favorite, practical UI changes. For example, my job switched us over to Outlook and there's no way to remove the sidebar that is essentially a giant ad for their other apps. So with Stylish, I just add a couple lines of code and bam, that annoying bar is gone. And of course, there are tons of pre-made styles changes already made for you that you can easily search for and find. Our first step is to create compatibility with the past generations. You can play them with the current skin, but you'd be staring at a gray background, not too riveting. So I just need to create some backgrounds for these non-3D generations. Unfortunately, your Pokemon don't have a full body, so we do need to get creative with these designs. I decided to have this middle battle bar that ends at the base of your Pokemon and use the extra free space as a way to add environments from the game. So I created a nice border to match the generations, filled the inside with the game's battle screen, and found good outside locations from each game. I angled the background and had your opponent's Pokemon stick out from the top to create this pseudo 3D effect. Unfortunately, there's no way to make the trainers look good here, so if you're an avid past gen player, you can now enable this piece of code I added at the top to hide the trainers. Next, the newer 3D games all grab from the same background, so even if I wanted to use a Generation 8 background, I can't. But what I can do is fix the special mechanic button. See, before every generation would use the Terra icon regardless if it was a Z move, Mega Evolution, etc. I'm now able to target each mechanic separately, so I opened Adobe Premiere and started to create animated GIFs for these other mechanics. I think they turned out great, and this change is especially useful in national decks where a team could have up to 3 of these mechanics at once. Okay, now we are on to menus that are actually more exciting to talk about than I thought. So there's a lot of side menus that I did work on, but we will be talking about the main 3 ones. First one is the home menu. I wasn't sure what to use as the main background. I didn't want anything animated, but the vast majority of Scarlet and Violet's UI is just navy blue rounded squares on other navy blue rounded squares. I know this would just create a dark blah looking skin, so I searched the game for something and anything, and I remembered that Gen 9 uses this wood tile for its Pokédex and a bright white texture for some paneling. So this would work perfectly to offset all the dark navy blue. I wanted the wood to be exact, so I much rather rip it from the game than try to find something similar online. With some editing and planning, I was able to create a repeatable texture from the small snippet of paneling. Next was the top bar, which is always present. I found the official render of the game's title card. These textures were great candidates for repetition, so by ripping just a small portion, I was able to extend it across the entire top. Finally, I threw together a new logo using Showdown's new icon and bordered the whole bottom with gold just like the game. So we are done with that, but the worst is yet to come. There is a lot happening within the team builder pages, but I did want to start with the main creation page as that's where most users spend most of their time. With my photo editor, I started to create some mock-ups inspired by the Pokédex. The idea was that you're using the Pokédex to create any Pokemon you want. I quickly realized the new design will make the pixelated old icons outdated, so I found some nice modern ones to replace them. The rework turned out fine, but there were still just too many colors and contrasts going on, so I ditched the whole thing and thought it'd be better to base it on the Pokébox menu instead. We have this nice animated gradient I could use for the background, and hopefully that will lighten up the area enough so it just wouldn't be a navy blue blah. There's a brief loading time in the game that I can snag this background when it's in one of its 3 colors and then manually transition them in Adobe Premiere. After much tinkering, revisions, and adjustments of transparency levels, I was still unsatisfied. Why did the in-game UI look so clean but not this? I eventually realized it was just all the unneeded text. Most players know what these input boxes do by now, so I removed a lot of the text on the battle card. I then removed some unneeded values on the detail bar and then rearranged everything into a nice rectangle, keeping almost everything in the same spot to preserve muscle memory. Finally, I made everything your mouse touches light up gold just like in the game. For the other team menus, it was mostly just coding troubles and decluttering. I know this little UI guy talking to you is fun, but there's no room for fun in Chris UI. I'm heartless. I had a pretty good idea what to do for the community tab. I wanted to base it off the in-game Poke Portal. That's where all the communication happens within the actual game, so it felt fitting. I snagged the blue background as well as the top gold bar. I did some adjustments to have the bar extend further and coded it all together. It looked great, but there was one thing left to do. Remove the mascots. I know I'm evil, but I found pixelated versions of the legendaries, so with some resizing, I got them fitting in perfectly. So the last goal is something that's going to take some time. Resizing and positioning all the Pokemon. See, Showdown centers Pokemon in a way that's not compatible with 3D environments, so some Pokemon end up standing offset or simply not the right size to begin with. You can only fix this by manually coding every single Pokemon. Now, I'm not that insane to do this. I mean, they look good enough, but I am going to at least hard code in the OU and VGZ staples and go from there. So this is something that's going to be updated more and more in the future, so look forward to that. Quickly to end things off, changes I made to the battle screen since the last update. The new type icons I used on the team builder are now here and in HD. Rain and sand weather now have better, crisper animations. By the vote of the Discord, your trainer now stands beneath your Pokemon instead of its side. The chat box now matches the rest of the skin, and the tear button was reworked to look good without that navy blue background I used last time, and is in the same location as in the actual games. And finally, we are done. The link to the updated skin is down below in the description and the pinned comment. And I don't want to quit until this whole project is perfected. If you want to support the project in any way, please consider the project's Patreon. It keeps bug fixes and quality life updates coming. And please join the Discord. If you have any questions or would like to report bugs, I'm always happy to help out, and I'm always happy to hear about bugs so I can go and fix them. Hope you enjoy it. Have a good one.